All right. Hey, 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 Facebook. Guess what time it is? It's time for the Ruby Girl Show with your favorite Ruby Girl, Dr. K. I'm in the house. And tonight, y'all, I got Dr. Nissa. She is back with me, and we got something to announce tonight. And so we've been keeping it a secret, a mystery. And so I am so excited to reveal it on my show. I have exclusive rights to this, y'all. I paid for this, y'all. Okay, checks in the mail, Dr. Anissa. So we're gonna get started tonight. But first, Dr. Anissa, you know what to do. Go on my page, find this video, share it on your page so your people can comment, so your people can give you the support that you need tonight. And while you do that, I'm gonna do my $1,000,000 commercial for Ruby Girl. So Ruby Girl comes from Proverbs 31:10. Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above the price of a ruby. So ladies, this special is for you only. Makes you rare, virtuous, and as always, you know that you are valuable. So the Ruby Girl platform was created because the respect of women need to be restored. And so on the platform, we have the Ruby Girl Talk, where you can come, share your business, share your story, and just get yourself out there so people can know who you are. And then we have t-shirts so that you can represent the Ruby Girl clothing line. Yes, I said clothing line or brand line. That's for the future. But we want women to know how worthy and valuable they are and how much God really loves them. So go to rubygirl.net. And then remember, every Thursday is Ruby Girl Day. So this Thursday, we are launching our Black Friday sale. So we got new Ruby Girl merchandise. Some of y'all done got everything with Ruby Girl on it. Toenails, fingernails, everything. Ruby Girl, y'all done brought it up, right? So I got some new merchandise coming out for Ruby Girl Day. Y'all been asking for white shirts. So you won't know until Ruby Girl Day if I got the white shirts, but I'm going to be having a big sale on Ruby Girl Day, launching new merchandise, and it's going to go all the way until Saturday. So get ready. So, all right, Dr. Nissa, are you ready for this life-changing interview?
I'm ready.
All
I'm with
right,
you, girl.
introduce yourself, girl.
Hey, everybody. I am Dr. Anissa Short, the success strategist hailing from Fayetteville, North Carolina. My mission is to support women in pursuing excellence in their business and in life. I am an author, I'm a speaker, I'm an entrepreneur, and I am a publishing consultant concierge. I am passionate about seeing women create success within the walls of their home, regardless of your venture, whether you have a home-based business, whether you want to write a book, whether you want to increase your presence in your brand. I am here to serve as your coach, as your mentor, as your best friend. And I'm delighted, Dr. K, to be here tonight with you once again. Thank you for the opportunity.
I just love your introductions. I could just sit back and just say, next time, be like, give me a 30-minute introduction because you are so great at selling yourself and giving
Thank you.
value to who you are. The short amount of time that I known you, just right away when I first met you, I know you was a woman of value, professional. I know you somebody that's about her business. And you can't say that too much these days because a lot of people say one thing, but I know you back up everything you say with
I do
action.
my best. I do my best.
You are the best. So, Dr. Nissa, you're good with helping people get their book published. And, I run into so many people that they want to publish their books, right? They don't know where to start, they don't know where to begin. And then people got a book, they wrote a book and don't know how to market the book. It's just sitting on the shelf. What advice would you give to an author who's trying to write their book or someone who's trying to market their book?
Okay, so for those who have like the idea, they haven't really jumped out there, they've not made the leap, or maybe they even have a manuscript, but they just hadn't done the work necessary. I know a lot of times people will consider self-publishing, and there's nothing wrong with self-publishing, but they don't understand the dynamics behind publishing. And so when I meet someone who's published a book and they're wanting us to market it, I can't market it if it's not up to publishing standards. So if someone is wanting to start with their very first book, my first bit of advice would be to have a conversation with someone that's familiar with the publishing industry, someone who's going to at least explain to you the ins and outs of what's involved in publishing and things that you need to be aware of, so that if you do choose to self-publish, you do so from an informed position. Or if you realize that after understanding the mechanics of what's involved, you might choose to go a traditional publishing route, or like the hybrid route, which is the route that I pretty much work in. But I really think people need to do the homework. If they're not going to sit down and do the research themselves, they need to make the investment and have the conversation with someone who's familiar enough to be able to provide them the ins and outs, so that they can move forward from an informed place. And then even after the book is written, they must understand that when you write a book, you've just started a business, whether they realize it or not. So just like a person who might be selling Tupperware, or someone who might be opening a flower shop or a bakery, when you write a book, you are now a business, or and a brand. Your book becomes your business card. And if you want people to support you, they have to know that your book exists. You know, if they don't know you, they don't know your book exists. So you've got to be responsible for getting the word out there, doing what's necessary to market and promote. And sometimes that's daunting for people. So again, you might want to consult someone to get some ideas, make the investment necessary to get the information so you can move forward from an informed position. And then, of course, if you decide to hire someone to do it for you, then that takes some of the heavy lifting off of you, but you must be willing to invest. There's no way around it. You get what you pay for, and if you choose not to pay the price that it takes, whether that be in sweat equity or paper dollar bills, then you're probably going to get pretty much a nothing for it. I mean, really. So yeah, so it goes with anything. You start a business when you write a book, and so I encourage everyone to use that book now to establish their platform, or to build upon the platform they already have established.
I love the advice you gave. So my first book, I did self-publish, but it was a journal. So a
Okay.
journal is not hard to publish. I got an editor, to go through the journal, make sure everything was, right as far as the wording and everything. But when I went to do my book, I was going to self-publish it too. But like you said, I talked to somebody that was familiar with publishing. I hadn't even thought about this. When she was like formatting the book, I didn't know it meant breaking the chapters down. Like she
Headers and
put,
footers, page numbers, you want the
yeah,
right page. You have to make sure that the margins are right for the dimensions of the book, to make sure the font size is correct for the dimensions
yes.
of the book. Yeah,
I didn't know all that. I was just going to publish the book just like I did my journal.
right.
But I made a $900 investment into it. And I'm glad that I did, because when she returned the book back to me, I was like, it just added something to it. Because I've
Hmm.
brought books where people have self-published. I brought this one book. It was like really small. It looked like an essay that you folded over. No
Uh-huh.
page numbers, no chapters. And this is on Amazon, and it's still out there on Amazon. And I was shocked when I got the book, because I didn't, I think the book was like $15, $16. And so I have gotten books where people have published, and I could tell right away that it was self-published,
Yes, 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 yes.
versus you go to somebody that know what they're doing. So she's giving you some real good advice. And Dr. Anissa is very knowledgeable in the book publishing world, because guess what, y'all? She's done anthologies. She's authored them. She's been part of them. And so she's almost like the anthology expert. So tell us about some of the anthologies you have authored. So y'all sit back. She's got a list of books that she's about to rattle off. Now I'm gonna give y'all a quiz. All right, go, Dr.
You are
Anissa.
so funny, Dr. K. The very first anthology that I was a part of is a book called As for Me in My House. I was one of, I think it's 9 of us that were a part of that project. Now, this was early on in my writing, or being an author, career, I guess you could say, because it was really the first book that was published that had my name included in the project. I was invited to be a part of it. And for those who don't know, an anthology is basically a series of stories all under the umbrella of one title. Each chapter is like a short story, and all of the short stories typically are connected to one topic or one title that's exhibited in the title of the book. That's what an anthology is. And so I was working on my own personal book. The invitation to become a part of this anthology was presented. My publishing mentor said that I need to put my book to the side to be a part of this project. And I was like, why? I mean, I'm trying to focus on my own. I'm so glad I listened, because that book became an international Amazon bestseller. Now, everybody else was excited. I had no clue. I'm like, is that good? I guess that's good, right? Because of course I was new. And so when I went back to my mentor to tell us that this became an international bestseller through Amazon, and she says, now from here on out, Anissa, in your resume, you can reference yourself as an international bestseller. She says, that's why I told you to do this book. You know, anthologies are a great way for people who are just coming into the world of writing to be a part of, because it's a shared expense, it's a shared experience, it's shared expense. And then of course you don't have to write as much, so then it gives you like a taste of what it's like to actually be into publishing. So that was the first book. The second, third, and fourth book were my Shiro series. Now I curated these projects. The first one was Becoming the Shiro. It launched during the pandemic. It consists of 14 female entrepreneurs who shared their stories of what being an entrepreneur, how it helped them to develop into the women that they are today. You know, what was it that they had to overcome. That book became an Amazon bestseller. The next year or a year or two after that, I did another Becoming the Shiro series, which was the military edition. So I had women of the military share their stories of how being in the military helped them to develop into the women that they are today. What were the lessons learned? What were the hard knocks? What were the tears that they cried, and how they become stronger, bigger, stronger, faster, better, you know, that kind of thing. And so it became an Amazon bestseller. And then the third one was released actually this year. It was Becoming a Shiro, the Motherhood Edition. And this book consists of women sharing their stories, their chapters, either served as a salute to their mother and the lessons they learned from their mom, or what motherhood has taught them. And so it launched in April, just in time for Mother's Day. And it too became an Amazon bestseller. So I was excited about the Shiro series. So that's book 1 through 4. I also curated another project called the Titus 2 Principle. It was released in January of this year. It in The Titus 2 Principle is really about touches on the importance of mentorship. For those who might be familiar with Titus 2 in the Bible, it makes reference to the older men teaching the younger men, and the older women teaching the younger women. That's a mentorship principle. And so in the encapsulated within the stories of this book, people shared either their experience serving as a mentor, and or how their mentor made a major impact in their lives. And so it launched in January, which was National Mentorship Month. So I think that was book number 5. And then I was a part of another anthology that someone else curated called Click to Cash, Volume 3. And so I was one of, I think, 10 co-authors with that book. We were given specific questions to ask about entrepreneurship or our entrepreneurial journey. And so every woman is, I think every person, yes, it's nothing but females, but so every one of us answered those questions, being very transparent about our entrepreneurial journeys and advice we would give to other people who were entrepreneurs. So I don't know, what's that, six anthologies?
I
I
think I'm on 12. No.
don't. You are so funny. So yeah, so that yeah, that's it. The Becoming a Shiro series, As for Me in My House, Click the Cash, and then Titus 2. That's 6.
Oh wow. That's amazing.
Thank you. To God be the
That's amazing.
glory, because all of these were not, the Shiro series was given to me by him, but these others were invitations, and the Titus 2 principle was given to me by him, no doubt about it. As a matter of fact, the Titus 2 book was the concept for it was given to me over 15 years ago, honestly.
Oh
And I
wow.
just published it this year. Yeah.
But you know, I like what you said about it being a mentorship.
Yeah.
We never look at it as the older women teaching the younger women, that is mentorship, and it's
Right.
his responsibility too. And I think that's a disconnect in our
It
society,
is. It
because
is.
I had my event last month and I had all the women that were going to be part of the event on the flyers. And so a friend of mine, she shared it at the shelter she's at, and the younger women was like, oh, we don't see anybody that we would be interested in on the
Right.
flyer, you know, not knowing that you're probably in the shelter because you have listened to the advice of those that are your age
That
or
you should,
younger.
right. And you need some mentorship from somebody that's wiser, older, wiser.
Yes,
Yes,
to
indeed.
help you in life.
Exactly.
But I noticed that, and maybe I know we were kind of the same way, but I would say this: I've always been around older women. I've always connected better with women that are older
Yeah.
because I respected their wisdom. And
Hmm.
maybe because my great grandmother raised me, that might
Right.
be it. But
Yeah,
I know a lot of younger women, they don't want to hear anything from older women or anything. Oh, you old. Well, how you think I got old and I'm still getting
I
old?
know, right? Exactly.
Right. You
Yeah,
know,
that was the thing when the concept of that book was given to me. Of course, the scripture goes in more detail. It says the older women should teach the younger women how to be good wives and take care of their children and love their husbands, that kind of thing. And so, and it's, of course, I'm not knocking that because I believe that's necessary. But I was like, well, God, that don't really sound sexy because everybody not married. We don't have husbands or we don't have children. So how does that fit? And that's when it was revealed to me. Of course, in Bible days, in biblical times, women they didn't work outside the home. They were not occupational. Well, there were some that were occupational, but we won't talk about them. So they were mostly homemakers, right? So
right.
as a homemaker, that's really a profession. There are things that people need to know to be excellent as homemakers and wives and moms. And so that's what they did. They poured themselves into their families and things of that nature. Well, if we extract from that the principle, that means that if you're a doctor, then who are you mentoring to be a doctor? If you are an instructor, who are you mentoring? Are you an entrepreneur? Who is the person, the male or female, that you are pouring into? What is your profession? Whether you are a minister, teacher, or just in simple everyday life, who are you pouring into? Who are you supporting? Who are you undergirding? That sounds like a biblical word, but you get what I'm saying. Everybody needs somebody. So everybody has a place and a role to play. And in my book, the book that was written, I have several men and women from all walks of life. And the messaging is the same, but their stories are vastly different. But everything points to the importance and the significance of having someone to pour into you as a mentor.
It's funny you said that. Last night when I went to church, my pastor said, you can't become successful unless you have a mentor. He
That's
said
true.
everybody have a mentor, even if they don't tell you that.
Right.
Somebody has helped them along the way. And that's how God has structured us. He said, you hear a lot of people, they get mad. Well, I don't need nobody. I do it by myself. And God, and it's just me and you, God. And God is like, I work through people.
That's
That's
exactly
why you're
right.
surrounded by
Right,
people.
exactly. People
Why
are your
people
greatest resource. It really is.
Yes. And so we be trying to, it's just me and you, God, just me and you, God. And God, like, no, it's me,
Right.
you, and somebody
And
else. It's a
whoever else in
Trinity
your
thing.
life, exactly.
There you go. And he said that last night. And he was like he was saying he's a millionaire. He said, I didn't get here until somebody mentored me. He said it's all about connection.
It
Success is
is.
about
It
connection.
is.
And you're right.
Exactly.
We need more teaching about life skills, period, especially in our
Period.
culture, how to
Hmm.
handle conflict. I think that should be taught in every school.
Emotional management. Can we talk about that one?
Yes, yes, yes. Definitely we need that because our young men get so angry, they don't know how to handle that anger. They
Right.
only know how to violently
Yeah, right.
handle it. Nobody's taught them. When you get angry like this is what you can do.
Right.
You don't have to react in this way. And so now we have a generation that don't know how to express themselves
They
properly. They
don't.
just know they get angry and they react.
And they pop off, and now they have a scar that's going to follow them for the rest of their lives sometimes, unfortunately. And then when you look back on it, there were so many other ways in which you could have responded, but now it's too late. I mean, it's not too late, but you get what I'm saying. You can't take back what
Yeah.
happened because it happened. You just got to move forward. Yeah.
Yeah. My
So
friend
those,
told me this. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go
My
ahead.
friend told me this. She said it's so easy to get into trouble, but it's so hard to get out.
It is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is. That's why mentors are so important. That's why it's
Yeah.
so important. Right.
Yeah. I know Jesus Christ was the best mentor. I mean, the 12 disciples, they
Hmm.
had the best mentor
Right.
in
He
the
led and he led
world.
by example. That book, Titus 2 Principle, the subtitle is Reach, Teach, Lead. And so it
Mhm.
talks about the importance of reaching the people, teaching them, and then leading by example. Reach, teach, lead is the subtitle. And so sometimes people are really good at teaching, but they try to teach them before they reach the person. You have to build a relationship and establish trust, and to be able to really truly be effective in how you pour into them. And then no matter how much you say, they're going to watch what you do. So does your messaging verbally in your messaging, practically your lifestyle doesn't match. Because if you say one thing and you do something else, you're really not truly being a mentor.
You're right. You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. All right. So it's time for our 30-second break. So make sure you tell people how to get your book, how to get connected with you. So I'm gonna give
Okay.
you 30 seconds and I'm gonna go on Facebook and see who's out there watching. Y'all better hurry up and share because I'm looking to see if y'all share. All right, go ahead.
All right, so thank you again, Dr. K, for this opportunity. I'm excited to share that all of my books are available on Amazon. Let's make it easy. You will find me listing my books are listed in my name of Dr. Anissa Short. And you can secure each of the books that I've mentioned, in addition to a few others. You'll see all the titles associated with my name there. I am available also. If you'd like to connect with me, find me on my website, anissashort.com. That's ANISSA, short as in not very tall.com. That's my website. And within the embedded in the website, you'll see various places on the pages. You'll see information about me. You'll also see a link that it says join my community. I would love for you to join my community. It's just basically being added to my mailing list so I can simply stay connected. Let's stay connected, and then share with you some of the things that I have going on, whether I have speaking engagements, different events I'm hosting, if I'm hosting a workshop, things of that nature. I love partnering with others and building relationships. So by all means, check out my website, join my community, and let's build something great in 2025.
Love it. Love it. We have a few people that have shared. There's people out there watching, they haven't
Okay.
commented. But Blair Cherie said, hello, ladies. How are you doing? Hello, Blair Cherie. I'm glad you're
Hi.
out there watching. And so this is the second part of the show. So we're gonna switch over a little bit. So we've been having you hanging with our $2 million ads and everything about what she's been up to. So Dr. Nissa, do you want to
Yes.
tell them what you got coming up new?
Yes, I am. I'm beginning in 2025 to host my own podcast, and I'm super excited about it. I had, prior to COVID, started a podcast, and I let it fade out during the pandemic. It kind of faded away. I still have that content, but I just kind of stepped aside. But in 2024, I made a very courageous decision to create my own brand, and I am considered the success strategist. My business is Anissa Short Consulting, and so under the umbrella of that brand, my desire is to support other people in their endeavors. When I say I'm a success strategist, I champion the success of others. And so this podcast is and will be an extension of my platform. So here's the thing, get excited when you are actually my guest. You will go live. We're going to go live in social media, Facebook, and of course, Instagram. But not only that, the podcast is going to be aired on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and two or three other podcast platforms. And listen, that means I say on my flyer, 3 showcases, one price book now. This is my Black Friday special, even though it's not Black Friday. But this is really a $97 value, but I'm hosting the $57 special right now. So I'm looking for 10 people to be a part of my inaugural season, which is going to kick off in the month of January. I'm going to do some pre-recordings and then we're going to get started. And so during this particular launch, I'm looking for really, as I say, lottie dottie everybody. If you champion the success of others, I want to feature you. You might be a home-based business owner. I want to feature you. You may be an author. I want to feature you. You might have a business that supports other businesses, like maybe virtual assistants or domestic engineers or whatever. I want to feature you. If you are a homeschool mom or you're part of a homeschool community, you're creating success from home as well because you're taking care of those babies. Guess what? I want to feature you. And then there's going to be a special season within my platform where my husband and I are going to come together and we're going to talk about success from home from a marital standpoint. So this success for home platform is going to focus on entrepreneurship. Absolutely. It is going to talk about authors and giving them a platform as well. But I want to bring in other elements of success that can be established from home. Everything starts within the walls of your home. And so, yes, Dr. K, I'm joining your club of having a podcast and I'm excited about it.
I'm excited. Welcome. Welcome to the podcasting club. It's amazing the connections you're gonna make. the stories you're going to hear. I just started mine just during the pandemic. It started Facebook Live, and
Mm-hmm.
I can say it has been life changing for me. The people that I have met, because I met
Yes.
you.
I was just gonna
Um,
say that we met each other as a result of the podcast.
Yeah, so I have met so many powerful women and men and heard so many stories that have influenced me, have changed my life. Matter of fact,
Mm-hmm.
one of the ladies I met on my podcast, she nominated me for an honorary doctorate, you
Oh
know.
wow.
Yeah, so you just never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to connect with on your podcast. And it's been a lot of people, they're going to be on your show and they're going to be like, this is the first time I shared my story. This
Right.
is the first time I talked about this. And it's going to give you a wonderful feeling because you're
Yeah.
like, I set a platform for them to finally be able to release their story or talk
Right.
about their trauma or share their
Exactly.
business. So
Right.
I am so excited for you. So when I seen your flyer, I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna have to be a guest. You've been
I
like
know, right?
a guest on my show like 59 times, you know.
Uh,
You like number two on the most appeared person, Ruby Girl on the Ruby
that's
Girl
because
Talk.
you continue to invite me, and I always say yes.
And I love to talk to you. I love to have conversations with you because you always give my audience some wisdom,
Thank
some
you.
knowledge, you know, that they need. So you already talked about who you look at the spotlight on your show,
Right.
um, which are going to be entrepreneurs, authors, especially I like to get back to authors because now that I'm in the author field, I
Mm-hmm.
feel how people are when they write a book. I went to a book fair, and when I tell you, it was packed out with authors.
Wow.
They had like table out the table, just it probably was like over 100 people in there with
Oh
books.
wow. Okay.
And yeah, and it was I was just shocked. And so many people had so many different stories. So I was like, how do you stand out from everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
How do
Right.
you make your book be sought out there?
Right.
Unlike everybody else, because everybody's like everybody telling their story, everybody got a book. So how would you,
Right.
Dr. Anissa,
Mm.
I know we talked about how to market it, but how do you just stand out in the sea of all these authors? Because anybody can write a book now.
Well,
Anybody.
I think it's important that everyone stay true to who they are and the platform. My initial decision to write a book had everything to do with the fact that I work with a lot of women in business and I did a lot of networking. And inevitably, people started calling me asking for advice. And usually it was centered around where the most consistent conversation I had for years was, how do I set up a table for a vendor event? This is my first vendor event. I don't know what to do. Someone gave me your name. And I'm like, who are these people giving people my name? I don't, So that happens so often. So that was the reason I decided to write the first book. I'm going to write this book to give this advice. So when people ask me, they can either pay for the book or they can pay for my 12-point checklist on how to be a vendor.
Uh-huh.
And so that's how that happened. Well, that then led to some of these other books that I've already talked about and a few others, which offer tips and advice to entrepreneurs because I saw there was a need, especially for those who are novices and starting their businesses from home. They don't know where to start. There's a lot. They're really good at baking the cakes, but they don't know the business side. Or they've been doing this thing for 4 years and they're beginning to be disgruntled. They don't have a community to glean from. And so I wanted to become an extension of that. So how do you distinguish yourself from someone else? I really believe that if we truly walk and operate from our own uniqueness, we will automatically stand out because no two people are alike. And not only that, Dr. K, you have a podcast. I will be having a podcast. I'm not in competition with you. I'm gonna send people to you, well, like I have always done. Send people to you, and I hope you send people to me. I never lose anything by supporting someone else. Actually, I believe it's a seed. So when I make an investment in supporting your business, what I have done is basically planted a seed that will reap that I will can expect to receive by way of a harvest in my own life in some capacity. So I think the short answer to your question is that how do you distinguish yourself from everyone else is just be authentic, transparent, and stay true to who you are and your platform. And I think you'll do well.
I agree. I agree with you. I've thought of some creative ways to market my book. Like when I did my event, I did a short play around my book, and
Yeah.
the person that edited my book for me, she had me pull out quotes. They pull out quotes and
Yeah.
all types of magnet leads from the book and stuff like
Excellent.
that. It's
Right.
so much, like
It's
you
so
said,
much.
It really is a business. There's so much you can do. Book studies, podcasts. I know a
Podcasts,
person started
book
a
fairs,
podcast. Yes.
books, and then too, I mentioned earlier that your book can serve as your platform, or it can serve to be built to build your platform. So there are people, like one of my more recent clients, she wrote her first book. She was excited about it. Her book ended up being a therapeutic experience for her, but because of her life story, now people are asking her to speak about her book and to share her story. And I
Mhm.
told her, I said, that's going to happen. I already know it's going to happen. So you may as well get ready. And so before the book was even out there, I mean, I think she's already sold 200 or 300 copies, and it hadn't been out probably a month, but not only have the books have sold because she's telling her story. So she's going to these places telling her story and end up selling the book. So you've got to be willing to step outside your comfort zone. And for some people, it's very intimidating, but that's why it's important to have a mentor and to
Mhm.
have conversations with someone who's experienced, because they can help you navigate all of the complexities and it's not really complicated like chemistry or physics, but it's just something new. It's something different. You've never done it before. So it behooves you to find somebody that can help you out. It really does.
All right. So that advice that we gave you about being an author, you can apply that to your business.
Right.
Period. Think
Exactly.
out the box for your business. Like
Exactly.
I say, you see a lot of people out here that are successful and they're willing to give you the gems for how they got there and everything. But you got
Hmm.
to understand something. It takes work. There's no shortcuts to success.
Mm-mm.
It's a long road and it's a journey to success. Now, people will let you believe that if you take this, if you do this, if you follow this, and you'll get there a little bit faster. You still got a journey.
Exactly.
You might avoid some detours, but you still got to travel the same road that
That's
they
true.
travel,
That's true.
And so I think a lot of people, you can get caught up in the shiny syndrome
Hmm.
system or syndrome when you're around people that are successful. But once you be around people that are successful for a while, you understand, okay, it's going to take time. And I
Right.
just have to follow the path that they did and do the things that they do and be committed and already having your mindset that
Hmm.
you're going to become successful. That's where it starts at.
That it really
Because
does.
because once you plant that seed in your mind, now you're going to water that seed. Now you're going to cultivate that seed. And now you're going to take care of that seed. But if the
Hmm.
seed is never planted in your mind that you can be successful, you're going to lolly die. You ain't even going to worry
Right.
about it.
It be just too casual about it. It takes dedication. One of the mentors that I have, inadvertently, he has been 20 years into um promoting books. As a matter of fact, he started out just doing book reviews. I don't know if you're familiar with Cyrus Webb, but he is phenomenal. And it started off doing book reviews that ended up leading into doing radio shows and podcasts. And now, I mean, he's in a little small town in Mississippi, Dr. K. And he's amassed a great following. I mean, he has like 100, like a million views. He has Amazon Live. He's an Amazon Live influencer, and all of that started with him being engaged with books.
Mm.
And he did most of what he's done, the majority of what he's done. I want to say all of it, but I'm just going to say the vast majority of what he's done has been virtually right there in his home.
Wow.
Yep. So it's doable. You just have to know the tips and tools, and that's why having someone in your space that can assist you is so important.
So now we get to the main question. How do you balance? Oh, okay. Because you're a coach, you're an author. You're always out there helping other people. So how do you balance your responsibilities while staying true to your purpose? Because sometimes we can get caught up in what other people are doing, their purpose, because it
Hmm.
seems like it's more successful than what we're
Right.
destined to do. How do you stay focused and on track?
I have a schedule. Now, it ain't always pretty, but but I do have one, right? So,
Um,
like for example, I may get up at well, my wake up time varies. If I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, or whether I wake up at 7 in the morning, or even 8, depending on what time I went to bed. The first thing I do is well, not always, but I strive to every morning start with my own devotional time and reading. Even if it's 15 to 30 minutes, I read, I pray to feed my own brain, right? Then my next objective is to take care of what I need to take care of at home. My husband jokingly, since he's retired now, I don't get on the phone before usually before 9, maybe even 10, because within that window of time I'm taking care of home. I'm either starting some laundry, I may go ahead and cook breakfast and dinner at the same time if that's the day I choose to cook. You know, I do those types of things first, then I get started with my day. And so my day might be on like Mondays, constant nonstop 9 a.m. to almost 9 p.m. maybe Monday. But then Tuesday it might be, from 9 to 12. And then from 12 to 3, I'm taking a nap and watching a movie. And then I'll pick back up, later on in the day. It just depends. But I think it's important that we create balance. Early along in my entrepreneurial journey, I realized the importance of getting rid of things that I really didn't need to be doing. So I deducted some things out of my life that may have been good things, but they didn't serve the greater good. Let me say it that way. There were some things that I was engaged in that were great things, but I was pouring out more than I was receiving. So I decided to cut back, or just eliminate it totally. So those are the types of decisions we have to make the decision of. When I worked a full-time job, I got up and got ready for work. But even if I needed to make customer calls and things of that nature, I did it sometimes on my breaks because I knew that once I got home, I might would have had to, if it was a Wednesday night, go to church and I still wanted to cook dinner. So I just kind of juggled it and found 30-minute pockets here and there to do things. It can be done, but you must be willing to do it. You must be willing to delegate and to get rid of some stuff. You really do.
But you know what? How you say you have a schedule and everything. A lot of women struggle with um, time management,
Yeah, we do.
being consistent.
Yep.
Like most people know where I'm at 8:30 on Tuesday. They know
Hmm.
I'm on Facebook doing my show. 8:30
Right.
on Tuesday. And I have some things I'm very consistent at. And then like at 9 o'clock, supposed to be 9:30 on Sunday mornings, I'm supposed to be doing like my Ruby Girl. I forgot what it's called now, perspective.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do it. Most of the time I'm not there 9:30 because that's
You're
kind of
right.
like, my little sleep time. But it's like being consistent. It
It's
can be a
yeah.
struggle, but
It
it seems
can
like
be.
you're so
It can be.
disciplined.
No, I'm not as look. I make it look good. I'm not as
You
disciplined as
make it
people
look
think.
great.
Listen, because every day is different, but you got to be
Yeah.
willing to make the pivots and do what you need to do. Um, I always say it's like creating a new crease in your brain. If you're introducing something into your life, you have to make, and it's important to you, you will make time for it. There were times when I was coaching women who would tell me they didn't really have time to work their business because they were so busy. They had so much on their plate. And then I find out later they're going to school and they have to be in class 2 days a week. And the classes are 2 hours long. I said, well, the same 4 hours you're dedicating to school, you could have been dedicating to your business. So we do what's important for us. Let's be clear. We make provisions for what we want to. I also would say that I agree with you with regards to time management because we have a lot of balls that we're juggling. And sometimes those balls really are just busy work. They're not productive. Why are you still juggling that ball? That's my question. I mean, how does it serve you? It's maybe a good thing, but does it serve the greater good? Sometimes we have to pull back on that. And then another thing I often hear people say is, I may say, well, Dr. K, I'm hosting an event on February the 22nd. I want you to be a part of it. Well, girl, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing that day. And I'm like, well, do you have anything on your calendar already? Well, no, I don't. Well, I know you're gonna be coming to my event. That's what you're gonna be doing that day. So we sit and wait for things to happen instead of planning. Time is a tool for us to use, not to be dictated to. So I schedule my time. I say no to the things I want to say no to, and I make it work, and I may have to pivot, and every day is not beautiful, but I give myself permission to start fresh the next day.
I started laughing because that's me. When people ask me stuff, and I'm like, well, I got to check stuff out because sometimes I just don't want to do anything, and I have to make myself
Well, you
do
can say
stuff.
that, Dr. K. You could say, you know what, I'll go like this. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. Tell me more about the event. And then I'll go, you know what, please keep me on your roster for next time. I don't know that I'll be able to attend and I don't want to commit. I'll say that. That's a nice way of saying no. In the South, women think saying no is a cuss word. So we have to
Yeah,
find creative ways to say it. I'll say things like, thank you so much, because you can't say yes to everything. You can't say
yeah,
yes to everything.
you're
But here's the,
right.
but you should say yes to yourself. If you
Yes.
made a decision to start a business, if you made a decision to write a book, if you've made a decision to add value, made a decision to participate in something that's going to add value to your life, you should say yes to that and say no to everything else. And sometimes it's just for a season. No, I need to write this book. I need to get it out of the way. Y'all leave me alone for 6 months while I concentrate on this, and I'll be back out and play after the 6 months.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I've had to do that. I've had to shut my friends down, not talk to them and stuff, because I had to focus on the things that I
Right.
needed to do. And so my friends know now, they're like, you always busy, you're doing something. And I try to do something all the time, because when I'm focused on something,
Hmm.
that's when I have my energy. That's when
Yeah.
I'm like alive.
Yeah.
Like when I was doing my event, I stayed up to 1 o'clock every night, like 1 or 2 o'clock, 6 nights in a row, but I
Uh-huh.
had the energy to
Yeah.
do it. I was working all day and then working on my stuff because I was creating things. So when
Yeah.
you're in your flow,
Oh
you
my
just want to
goodness.
stay up. You
You're
don't want to go to sleep.
unstoppable, right? You don't
Yes,
need to
you really
sleep. You're
are.
not sleepy. There are
Yeah.
times I'll go to bed late and then I'll pop back up. Sometimes I'll wake up and I'll say, oh, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And I feel like I'm well rested. So I go, well, all right, let me get up and go do something. So I start my day. One of my
Mhm.
friends says she challenged me in this, what is your morning routine?
Mm.
I'm like, I don't really have a routine. And I said, when you say routine, I'm acting like I don't know what this means. What do you mean by routine? And she says, systematically, what do you do before you do anything else? And then I said, well, give me an example. She says, I get up, I have my prayer time and my devotional time. I do a little bit of exercise. I do a little bit of reading. She says, I do all of that. She says, I may have my cup of coffee or hot tea. She says, I do that every single morning before I do anything else. That's my morning routine. And so she challenged me into creating a routine. Now, it ain't always pretty, like I said, but I said, no matter what time I get up, this is what I want to start my day with. I may not get up at the same time every day, but what I have committed to saying is that when I start my day, this is the first thing I do. I don't get up and start laundry first. I don't get up and check emails first. I don't want to get up and scroll Facebook first. I want to get up and read first, and
Yes.
pray first, that kind of thing. So everybody's routine is different. I don't have kids. My husband is very self-sufficient, so my dynamic is a little different. But I do believe we all could create something consistent to pour back into ourselves, and we should always say yes to that.
All righty. Okay. Well, it's time for you to give us a 2 minute closeout.
Oh, wow. Well, I really would love to feature you, your brand, your book. I would love to feature you, your business, your brand, your book. I want to feature you on my podcast, and I'm super excited about it. So I extend to you an invitation to 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 sign up now while it's only 57. It's going to be 97, but my first 10 people who take advantage of the $57 investment, you're going to be one of the first 10 people in the inaugural season of Success from Home podcast. And so I'm going to be posting how you can secure your spot because I have the link and I'll be posting it. I think I've sent it to you in the chat, Dr. K, but I'm going to also post it after the podcast is over in the comments section and pin it if that's okay. So that if anyone wants to secure their space, I'll be more than happy to talk with you. I'm excited about this. I love meeting new people, Dr. K. That's how you and I met virtually via the podcast world. So I want to maximize the opportunity to meet people. This is an opportunity, I feel, to be able to pour into other people and to actually spotlight people and to help them go from one point to the other. You said it earlier that people is our greatest resource. And so, believe it or not, there are people outside of your immediate family and in your neighborhood that will probably benefit from what you have to offer by way of your book, your business, or your brand. And so I want to help you get the word out.
All right. How can we connect with you?
AnissaShort.com is my website. You can find me on Facebook, Dr. Anissa Short. You can find me on IG, Dr. Anissa Short, and LinkedIn, Dr. Anissa Short. And then, of course, my email address is anissashort@gmail.com.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Anissa.
You're very
I
welcome.
really, really, really love this talk that we had tonight, the advice that you gave everybody, especially people that are authors and people that's business owners. Like I said, you could talk about one thing, but you can apply it to your business. Like you said, a
Exactly.
book, is a business. It opens the door for you. And I encourage people all the time. I said, at least do an ebook, a little
Mm-hmm.
short ebook. I said,
Yeah.
that's something that you have to offer people to connect with them and for them to remember you by. Everybody got a story. Everybody got something to tell somebody. And then Chat GPT, my goodness, can make you an author in minutes, y'all. Come on. Nobody have an excuse not to have some kind of ebook out at this point, you know? So I just want to thank you once again. I wish you
Thank
the
you.
best success in your
Thank
podcast.
you. Thank
I
you.
hope you have the most amazing guests like
I
I do.
will. You're going to be one of them. I know, Dr. K. You got to get on. We will.
Oh,
Everybody
most definitely.
platform.
Most definitely, I got to get on your platform. I definitely do. But I'm gonna tell you this: I don't interview well. I'm telling you, I'm actually like, I'll be stiff. Like, you got to be the best guest. You got to, all these
I
rules
listen.
we going
My
through.
podcasts are going to be like girlfriend everyday conversation. I'm not going to. It's not a Barbara Walters interview. Where it's not going to be that serious. It's going to be like we sitting down drinking tea.
That's me. I just be like that when I interview. I want to be the best guest ever. So it's kind of funny. It's more like I'm more I would say stage when I'm a guest, but when I'm a host, I'm like more animated, more live, because I want to represent that person brand really well.
No, you want to represent
Yeah.
yourself very well, Dr. K. And here's the thing, that may have been your previous experience, but we are moving into a new year. So you have plenty of time to work through that fear. And I'm going to be one of the first to assist you with doing that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Anissa. So for everybody that's out there, next week I'm taking a break from the Ruby Girl Talk Show. I didn't do it this week because I wanted to talk to Dr. Anissa, but I want everybody to have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And remember, this Thursday starts the Black Friday sale for the Ruby Girl brand. I am so excited. The new merchandise that I'm working on. Y'all gonna be so shocked when y'all see it. I've been designing, creating my own graphics. Y'all seen me put some of them out there and y'all like them so much. So I said, you know what? Anyway, you'll find out on Thursday. So connect with Dr. Anissa. So what I did, I know you put in the chat. So I took it and put it out there on Facebook. The
Okay.
information I
Okay.
put from Dr. Anissa, but you also posted out there too.
Okay.
Yeah, but they have the information. So make sure y'all book with her. So we're gonna go off Facebook. Thank you everybody that watched tonight. We really appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll be back in 2 weeks on Tuesday at 8:30. And tune in on Monday. Me and Marietta Mills Jones, we're doing a book talk. So you want to drop in and hear us as we do our book talk on Monday. It's going to be Monday, I'll say at 7 p.m. All right, y'all.